Yeah, hi. I need to file a complaint against one of your officers. Sergeant Bush. Yeah, how you doing,
Put
sir?
that in your car and then come on back in. Put it in your car and then come on back in.
Oh,
Put it in your car and then come on back in.
Lieutenant, I mean, I think that this is part of the
No,
problem.
no, it isn't. This is the police station. It's different from what you're used to. Put it in your
This is a
car
public
and then
building,
come on back in.
And it's completely legal to carry a firearm in a public building.
Put it in your car, or I'm not talking to you. All right?
Well, I mean, that's
You want to argue about it?
I don't want to argue, sir.
Then go out, put it in your car, and then we'll talk.
But can we take the complaint in a place?
I'm happy to.
Sure, thank you, ma'am. Oh, okay. Oh.
So you were part of the group that was in here on Saturday,
Yeah, Sunday, yes, sir.
Sunday? So what was your complaint?
Well, the complaint is simply that my weapon was illegally taken from me. It's an illegal search and seizure. And he didn't have any probable cause or real suspicion to take that from me, or anybody else in the room for that matter. But for me, it's the only purpose I'm here.
Well, I've read Sergeant Bush's report, and I agree with him. Somebody comes in at the police station, which is a secure facility, even though it may be a public building. You know, we don't let people camp out in the lobby either, even though it's a public building.
Understandable.
How would you feel if somebody wanted to just come into your house with a loaded weapon? You probably wouldn't let them, would you?
Well, there's the situation where you have a private property situation
I
and then public property.
I'm just telling you personally.
No, I can understand the personal sides of things.
Yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of Sergeant Chris Wooters, who was a friend of mine, who was killed by somebody with a gun that was in our jail, all right? So we take that kind of stuff serious, and that's
Yeah,
why
and as well you guys should. I mean, safety is very important.
The hostility you do. Well, I mean, you could have 8 guys like you if you had a friend. Nobody knows who's who. If you had a friend in lockup and you had the idea to get him out, I don't know you. I don't have a program. Just because you got, you know, you dress nicely and you know, and look neat doesn't mean that don't have bad intent.
And I can appreciate all
So if somebody wanted
that.
to get their friend out here on a weekend or shoot up the place, and with terrorism what it is now,
Hmm.
you can understand the situation. I'm surprised the guys didn't go out in the lobby with the ARs out.
Well, I can appreciate your side of it.
I
But this,
understand, and I
the
understand
the
you
side of
guys
it that
are trying-
really only
you guys are
matters is the
trying to bring
law.
attention. But the law is, you're carrying a weapon, and we like to know whether or not
But,
you're a
no,
felon.
True. Now, you may like to know that, but legally, you don't have a right to determine that unless you have probable cause or reasonable suspicion of a crime. That's the simple fact of the law. I mean, what you like is one thing. What law is another.
That's what I'm going to tell you. And I'll tell you, what 10 times out of 10, we're going to check you to see if,
That's against the law. You guys cannot do that.
well, you know, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean,
This is something you know, I don't know, what do you expect to accomplish?
I expect you guys to follow the law.
No,
That's
no,
as simple
you
as
know
that. I mean, you want me to follow the laws, and I'm doing so.
Mhm.
I have the right to carry a firearm.
Okay,
I can
yeah.
carry it openly or concealed. And you guys have the right to observe, report,
You're carrying a weapon in public, and
Which is-
and
which
we
is
have the right
completely-
to determine if you were,
based on what?
based on the fact that you're carrying a
That's not,
firearm.
show me that in the law
You
book
know,
that says that.
I'm not gonna show it, I'm not gonna
It doesn't
play the
exist.
game- I'm not gonna play the game with you.
There's no
me.
game, sir.
You
It's
know
a
what?
simple matter of
We do
law.
all kinds of stuff. What do you want? Go see your lawyer, go see your group's lawyer, whatever, and sue the city. But I'm just telling you. You're looking, you know what?
I mean,
You're looking-
it
what-
just
what do you-
seems
what do
you're
you
so
hope-
complacent
Let me ask
to
you, what do you hope to accomplish with the gun on your hip?
protect myself. The same thing you guys do with yours.
What's the difference if you got a CCW? Do you actually think that having a gun on your hip is gonna protect you even more than having the gun on you?
You don't believe that a gun out openly displayed is a deterrent to crime?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
It makes you a target. It'd be like me wearing a shirt that says.
Well, that's my choice to be a target then.
Okay.
But I believe, and I believe that the statistics show, an openly displayed firearm is a deterrent to crime.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's a reason all police officers carry theirs in the open.
That's because we're uniformed.
The uniform doesn't make a difference. It's about the. It's about the.
I've never seen one police officer carry his gun in the open when he's not working.
But most departments have regulations that don't allow that.
No, they don't. I carry the gun any way I want to wear it. I carry 2 or 3 or 6 guns if I want to. And when I go into Detroit, I do carry 2.
Mm-hmm.
I carry 2 because
I mostly carry 2 myself.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
See, but the problem we have here, sir, is that.
It's different, and the same with the restaurants that you're serving alcohol.
Well, let me ask you this question: how do you guys determine if someone's carrying a gun? I could have been concealed on Sunday. I could be concealed right now, and you wouldn't know it.
You're very
And I'd be legally within my rights to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But your problem seems to be the openly displayed firearm. What's the difference there?
Because we obviously perceive it as more of a immediate threat, even though you may not see it as a threat. It's kind of a threat when you have guys that aren't liked by most of the public when there's people wandering around with guns.
So your perception is that people who openly carried firearms aren't liked by most of the public?
No, I didn't say that. I said the policemen aren't liked by a lot of the public.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean,
I don't
it
know
all
about
depends.
either,
Well,
believe
but
me,
based on the treatment I've been
I've
getting.
been doing this for 29 years, and I actually, you know what? You guys aren't cops. I've never seen you behind me on one of my runs or any of your other buddies. All right, but you want to carry guns like your cops, and I don't know what you know. And
So now you're trying to say you don't want the general public to carry a gun.
Listen. I'm not taking your complaint because I've read the report and I'm satisfied with it.
Well, but I think that you have a duty to take a complaint from a citizen if it's a legitimate complaint.
I don't think it's a legitimate complaint.
Well, do you not have a duty to take a complaint if it's not legitimate? Just take the complaint just to have it?
I took your complaint. Your complaint is that you felt you were unlawfully searched.
Okay, is there a form that I can have for a copy of that complaint? So I can make sure that's followed up on?
Here, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a yellow pad. You can write out a statement in the lobby, sign it, date it, print your name, address, phone number.
Is there a way for me to be sure that it doesn't find its way to the wastebasket versus actually being taken care of?
Sure.
Versus a formal complaint form? You guys don't use those here?
Then I put it on a different form. You do the initial one.
So isn't there, but there's not an official complaint form I can
I
fill out?
fill it out.
Okay,
I fill it out, I send it up to the internal affairs guy, and he stamps a number on it.
okay,
He decides on where it goes from there, whether or not he investigates it or comes back down for us.
okay. And is there a way for me to determine if the complaint is going to be followed up on by IA or not? If they say, no, this is not a legitimate
Before you leave,
concern.
I'll give you the internal affairs phone number.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Have a seat out on, you understand why I get geeked up, don't you?
Well, I can understand to a degree, but to the degree that how it's treated, I don't understand
Treated
that.
by,
By your sergeant.
no, well.
Just walking up and grabbing a firearm out of my holster is just completely unprofessional and illegal.
Well, apparently, you know what?
I mean, I guess you and I will clearly
I'll tell you
agree
what.
to
Well, you know
disagree,
what?
and it'll be up to IA to
When
determine.
the guy that was killed up in the jail 10 years ago, the guy that was killed up in the jail, Chris Wooders, all right?
Mhm.
He and Sergeant Bush worked together at the time. Sergeant Bush was going up to the jail to talk to that prisoner. And Chris said, you know what, I'll go take care of it for you. You wait down here. And Chris never came back down because he got killed. All right?
I am not a fan of any officer being hurt
I know
or
you're not.
wounded or killed in line
I
of
know
duty.
you're not, but you can see the
And
sensitivity. Stuff happens in a career. Stuff happens to these guys that you can't even begin to imagine.
And I wouldn't even try to.
And that's why, you know what? It all comes. And the bottom line is, I want to go home. I'm not a TV cop that gets shot and shows up next week, all right?
Mhm.
I want to go home just like Sergeant Bush. He's got kids, I got kids, all right? You want to make sure you're safe. You don't dick around. You don't get it, man. You just don't dick around.
But the problem is,
You gotta have the mind, and if you're carrying a gun, you better have the mindset. If somebody pulls that thing on you, you better have the mindset to draw it and shoot it. Because a lot of people carry that thing, and when the time comes and the shit hits the fan, they're pissing their pants.
Mhm.
All right? I'm
I agree
telling
with
you,
that.
you may be fine with it.
I agree
but
with
I'm
that.
just telling you. You know,
but there's a line though, where your safety.
some of us
in-
perceive this as a game. This coming in here with a bunch of guns is a game that somebody's testing us out on. It's plain and simple. The law should have been written that you don't bring a gun at the police station.
And that would be your point of contention, to go ahead and write your legislator and have it changed. But until it's changed, it is completely legal for me and any other citizen to carry a gun in here
As it
openly.
may be.
I could walk in here with
As
an
it may be,
AR-15
but
on
I'm
my
telling
back,
you,
and it's
that's
completely
fine,
legal.
but I'm telling you,
But to be
you
put to
might
the
have
ground
a
by your
problem.
officers,
That's,
I'm telling you it's legal. You're saying, I know it's legal, but I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyway. And that's the problem.
there's a line between making sure I go home at night and not hurting your feelings or
Now-
your rights.
Now, you
all
do
right?
realize that, I'm sure you guys are certified by the MCOs, they're your insurance agents, and that if you're gonna knowingly disregard their training on openly carried firearms, you can lose your insurance. And then your civil rights, I can sue you civilly, personally, not just the department. I mean, to just disregard someone's
Listen,
civil
you know
rights
what?
isn't appropriate.
To go out day after day, I can't be worried about the slightest little infraction that may get me sued. I have to make sure I go home. That's number one. It's to make sure he goes home. I don't have to worry about, I'm not worried about the lawsuit or anything like that. That's secondary. I don't think, oh, is this guy gonna sue me? Oh, this guy's, I think he's reaching for a gun. Do I just leave mine holster because I might hurt his feelings? He might sue me? Are you kidding me? You know what? This is all fun for you.
It's
It may
not
be.
fun at all, sir.
It may be.
I carry every day for my personal protection, nothing
That's
more,
fine.
nothing
you
less.
You got a CCW?
Yes, I do.
CPO?
Yes,
What?
I do.
Then that's great. I don't argue that. My wife has one. I recommend everybody has one. All right? But there's certain you're second guessing the cops. The cops want to go home. There's 240 guys here. 240 guys are gonna do it different. You got one that don't play around. He's seen the bad and he wants to go home. He's got his time. He can retire. He don't want to be the guy that you read in the paper that got killed by some nut who came in. I'm not calling you guys nuts, but anybody can come in here with a gun, go, hey, I'm just one of them open carry guys, and start shooting up the place. And then you read in the paper, well, we trusted him. Just like I trusted you when you come in here with that gun. I'm just telling you how it is. I've been on stops, people are reaching their coat. By the time they get their hand in their coat, they're looking down my barrel, because that's the way I am. But not everybody's like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do that, you go home with a hole in you. But go ahead and fill out your statement. We'll look at it.
All right.
There's a table out there, and chairs, have a seat and write it out.
All right.